Baller. He's a baller. I mean, he's Will Taylor. Shows up, hadn't played baseball. Next thing you know, bam, what he hit close to 300 or so. And I mean, he's probably faster than he's ever been, and he's always been fast. He's strong. He's confident. He's got enough experience now. He went through camp last year. He obviously has it. As y'all know, what our plan was with him last year is where we were. We really brought him through as a quarterback to train him up with a foundation, perspective of a quarterback, knowing we were going to move him, but really, equip ourselves that way. Obviously, our quarterback room is in amazing shape, but so we're excited about that. But we were transitioning him game 4 last year. We were kind of in that process, and whatever it was, 4th play of the game or 3rd play of the game, he's out. So, he was on his way. All I can tell you is I started him at punt returner against Georgia in his opening game on the road in Charlotte. There's not many freshmen that I would run out there in that regard. So he's just a baller, man. I can't wait to be able to get on the field and start coaching him, as a wideout. He's fast. He's explosive. I got to kind of see where he is because obviously I haven't been able to. He couldn't do anything in the spring, so I haven't been able to really coach him since last fall. But he's got everything. He's got everything. He's gonna be a great player, and it'll be fun watching him develop.
Is that slot wide receiver position kind of open right now?
I mean, they're all open. The good news is we got a bunch of guys. I mean, we're good to be finally. We got 10 scholarship players. It's been a while since we've been, fully stocked at that position with health. We've had guys on the roster, but we hadn't had everybody available. So getting everybody available has been really good. And, we got some guys. Most of those 2 and what we call the 2 and 5, those guys are interchangeable and can cross train, and they got to cross train. And then we got our boundary guys, and you got some guys that can play everywhere. Bo Collins can play anywhere. I mean, he can play in the boundary, he can play in the slot, he can play 2-man, he can play anywhere. I think Spector is the same. Will Taylor is a slot and a 2-man. Antonio is a guy I'm excited to get on the field with. He certainly can play the 2 and the 5. And those guys, like I said, they got to be interchangeable. So I think we got a lot of options, man. EJ, I mean, he's as talented a kid as we've had through here. Y'all saw him as a freshman, and then last year he hardly even played. He's hurt, 2 surgeries, and missed all spring. I'm excited to get him back. Ngata, I mean, the whole group. I mean, we just have a really good group of guys. It's as deep as we've been in a long time at receiver, and a really talented group. They got a lot to go achieve, but they'll do it. Maturity, commitment, focus, health. He's really been unbelievable. I don't even know how else to say it. I mean, he's been amazing. He's had an awesome. He's one of the best. He's become one of the best leaders on the team. One of the most respected guys. This guy has grinded all spring. I mean, and he really has played very little in 2 years. Spots here and there. He's been through a lot. I mean, but guess what? He survived it, and he's through it. We all get curveballs, right? You ain't got to hit the curveball. You just got to get a piece of it, right? Stay alive. And he's stayed alive. And here he is, and he's I mean, it's going to happen. If he's out on the field, it's going to happen. He is unbelievably talented. And I know I've talked a lot about Ngata, but, again, he's got to go do it. But if he can stay the course where he's at, he'll have a great year.
Now, but what does it feel like to look at your fellow coaches in the ACC and realize that you're kind of the old man in terms of tenure now?
Yeah. I am the oldest tenured. I'm not the oldest coach, but I'm the most tenured. Well, that just shows you you better save your money if you get a coaching job. This is a very volatile business, right? And this is. I remember walking in my first ACC meeting in May of '09, coaches meeting, and I was just telling Frank Beamer this the other day because he was the only one that would talk to me. I was scared to death. You walk in that meeting, it's Tom O'Brien, it's Friedgen, bunch of crusty dudes that I didn't know, and I'm scared to death of these guys. I'm like, man, I'm all right, Friedgen, I'm sitting over here. He just had this persona. Tom O'Brien, I thought he was like a drill sergeant, and I'm like, all right, I'm not sitting by him. Bobby Bowden had the USA Today asleep over in the corner. I'm not sitting by Bobby Bowden. Paul Johnson, well, he just beat me as an interim, and I'm not sitting by Paul. David Cutcliffe I knew, and I really liked David, and he was kind of the new guy too, me and him coming in, and I'd known him for a long time. But, man, Frank Beamer, just the nicest guy in the world. And I love Jim Grove. Those guys were great. I think it was Randy Shannon was at Miami. He was a super nice guy. But I just remember walking in that room going like, okay, this is happening. I'm in here. And I literally, Coach Bowden he just slept. And then every now and then he'd wake up and he'd be like, yep, you boys might want to do that. Y'all gonna be around here longer than me, but y'all might want to vote on that. And he'd just kind of go back. I think he's been in one of those meetings or two. But Beamer just was so nice. But I remember sitting there and like, wow, these coaches, they've been there forever. They're so successful, and in 13 years, it's turned over. So. I guess whoever took the over on me won. There's a lot of people that lost on the under, that's for sure.
Are you extra friendly in those meetings now?
Am I what?
Are you extra friendly in those meetings? Are you thinking the new guys?
I like all those new guys. I am. I go out of my way. I try to welcome all those guys because I know what it's like to walk in that room and that setting with your peers like that.
Coach, you had some bigger offensive linemen for this way in for the first time in a long time, some bigger dudes, Walker Parks.
Massive.
Were you happy with all of those guys? Dietrich at 360, is right where you want to be?
Yeah, absolutely, man. These dudes are strong. These dudes are strong and big. Look at Putnam, Parks, as you said. It's a process. Again, Walker Parks was a great player when he got here, but this is the best version of Walker Parks we've ever seen. This is the best J Mac we've ever seen. And that's what you want. That's what these guys are committed to. And, Dietrich Pennington probably would have been a starter for us at last year. And, now some of y'all 360 probably ain't very good, all right? But, again, it's not the weight. It's the composition of the weight. This dude is lean 360. One of the strongest guys, most powerful guys we've had come through. How about Blake Miller, Colin Sadler? These guys are, 320 or whatever, true freshmen. Strong, but biggest thing is we've just got everybody healthy and we got them through the knot hole. I'm so proud of Linthicum. Linthicum and Tristan Lee didn't have a senior year in high school, COVID, and then they, there's a difference between working out and training, all right, and they get here and they're way behind, and it took them a year, but man, they put the work in, and we're just in a different spot. That redshirt sophomore group. Mitchell and Tucker and John Williams and Trent, now Marcus Tate as a sophomore. They're just all the best they've been. I couldn't be more pleased with every single one of those guys in that offensive line. There's not one guy that I'm disappointed in. They all put in the work. They've done what they need to do, but this is probably as big as we've probably ever been, and as strong as we've been across the board. So we got a good group. We finally have the depth that we need, and I think a lot of guys that will be, ready to play. So we got to figure out, who's running out there first, who's 7, 8, 9, 10, and go from there. But the good news is I think we got everything we need right here.
What offensive line? What about John Williams?
Looks great. He's worked his butt off. He's got his body in a great spot. He's strong. He's the best we've ever seen him. You think about him, he missed his whole first year, and then he gets hurt again last year. But he's persevered. He's hung in there, and he's ready to go. He was able to go through spring. He's a versatile kid. He brings some versatility to the position. He can do multiple things. We have several of those guys that I think could cross-train, which is great because you want to get your best 5 out there. And, I really love, where we are. And again, it starts with J Mac and Putnam and Parks, man. Those guys are great leaders and unbelievably committed and passionate about having a great year.
Where is Jaden Lucas, and how quickly can he contribute?
Well, I mean, he's ready to roll. He's a dynamic player and was off to a great start in spring, and obviously he got hurt, but he's out there ready to go, full speed, and he's got to play. He's got to help us, and we think he will. I mean, he's very, very talented, and we'll see how he does through camp. He hasn't been through a camp yet, but we've seen enough out of him since January to know he can help this team.
What's your thoughts on the running back room, and how much will you guys lean on them, especially given that depth that you just talked about in the line?
Well, I mean, everything always starts with the run game for us. It always has, and some years better than others, but we've always, feel like everything comes through being able to run the football and, win the line of scrimmage. You don't win as much as we have won without being able to run the ball effectively. And so, we got 3 great backs. I think we got 3 starters at running back. we got several positions like that. And I think we probably got 4 starters at receiver. I think we got, 4 defensive ends that are starters. We got 3 D tackles that are starters. I think we got 5 linebackers that I would call a starter. So we have depth. And so all 3 of those guys, man, but we're always going to lean on that run game. That's always where. And then, we want to be an offense that can, how they going to play us. And we've had some years where people are, playing against the pass, and we weren't quite good enough to run the ball. And we've had some years where they're giving up the pass, and we're not quite where we need to be to throw the ball. And when we've been at our best, we've been able to have some semblance of balance, but be able to do, be able to take advantage of what weakness there is for a defense. And because every defense has a weakness. It's always a numbers game. What's on top, what's in the box, and where your mismatches are. So, I think this is a team that will have the ability to run the football. And if we can do that, then that creates stress. And then you have opportunity to attack people horizontally and vertically.
What's the ceiling of Kobe Pace and Will Shipley this season, your opinion?
They can be great. They can be great. Both had, Kobe played really not a whole lot as a freshman. So, he and Shipley and Maffa, that's really kind of their first main experience was last year. And as I said earlier, no greater teacher than experience. And 3 great kids, 3 unbelievably committed guys. They all are special in their own way, and all have really, really bright futures. And really, they can go as far as they want in this game.
Have you been able to talk or counsel Deshaun recently with what he's doing?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've communicated with Deshaun over the last, year or so quite a bit, and he's kind of at the back end of it. He's been through all the legal stuff, and now he's kind of dealing with the last part of it, and not quite finality yet, but eventually it will be, and he'll move forward.
You mentioned how strong your quarterback room is. How much value does Hunter Johnson's football IQ add, kind of having an extra coach on the sideline?
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, and that's what he wants to coach, and so he's got that mentality. But yeah, I mean, we're very blessed with this quarterback room. I mean, we got 6 guys that can really functionally play quarterback, and could win games for us in situations and whatever. So we're really fortunate that way. But getting a guy like Hunter, who's a 6-year guy, who's been there, done that, he's seen it all. It's not just his ability, but it's his leadership. It's his football character. I think it's his understanding of where DJ is, where Cade is, and being able to bring that little bit of a player coach mentality into that room, and be ready at the same time, because he's going to go out there and compete, and he's going to be ready. So it's awesome, having Hunter back, and it's been fun to just see him in the every now and then I do a double take, and I'm like, I think that's Hunter Johnson. It's been fun to have him back in the meetings and watch him engage with the guys. And I think he's really enjoyed it.
Coach, you talk so much about experience, but what about the freshmen that didn't experience last season and the new guys? How do you kind of get everybody on the same page?
Yeah, so that's kind of what the last 2 days were about, and really not the last 2 days, but really, you had some guys come in the spring, and then a lot of guys. You got your summer enrollees, signees, and some walk-on guys. So we have a kind of a process that we go through as far as starting over and installing the program and the fundamentals and the core values of who we are and the way we do things and why. To really get everybody on the same page and to create that ownership and that buy-in. So that's something we work on throughout the summer, and in these last couple days, really intense into that.
Dabo, were there any guys weight-wise that you weren't pleased with? Where they got to?
Weight-wise?
Yeah, they still need some work.
No, there's definitely, there's some of the young guys that are, just getting here and getting going, work in progress, but the guys that we needed to be, certain that we're really counting on, they're all right where they need to be, and progressing. So I wasn't disappointed with anybody. I mean, how about DJ? It was amazing. I mean, he's 255 pounds. He's 21 pounds down, and I told him if he'd take that necklace off, he'd have lost another pound. He cheated a pound. I'm really proud of him, man. Really proud of him. But all of them, they're just outstanding. Again, they're all at different parts of their overall development and their journey. But just where we need each guy to be, and the progress where they've made from where they were. Are they better than they were? Are they worse? Man, our whole football team showed up better than where they were in the spring. And that's a good sign. It's a good sign.
Biggest thing you